Money FM 89.3, the best of Saturday mornings. Saturday morning sit down.
The one and only, the not late great, current and great Jason Dasey joining us.
He's not dead.
In the studio. I know, that's why I said current and great, not late great. How you doing, Jason? Welcome.
Good morning, Len. Good morning, Neil. Good morning, Singapore. Welcome back to Money FM.
Yeah, it's funny. The other day, Steve and Neil and I were talking about, the station just turned 7 years old. And they said, yeah, Jason, inaugurated this show. But actually, there was somebody on the show before you, right? In this time slot.
I did not know that.
Yes, it's a bit
Before
of trivia.
you, right?
Yes, actually, a lady called Audrey hosted Weekend Mornings initially from January when Money FM launched for a couple of months and decided that she didn't really like it. It was a very different show back then. No interviews. There were a lot of BBC and Deutsche Welle clips, bit of music. So I got in contact with Money FM through the late Jamie Meldrum, the Australian former program director for 1FM. He said, look, you might be interested in a job that potentially could come up, some work. Got in touch with Loretta Lopez, a program director here. And in March, 7 years ago, in 2017, came in here, started training, and in April of 2018, Weekend Mornings began.
So I must have come in pretty soon after you then. There was a bit of a gap, and then you asked me to come on Saturdays, right? Or was it straight away?
I think it was straight away. I was that desperate.
I believe you were. I'm not disagreeing with any of that.
Neil has heard that before.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with any of that.
Yeah, so initially it was, a show that started at 7 in the morning on a Saturday and Sunday, went for 5 hours, so 10 hours over the weekend. And the first segments were Neil would come in for a couple of hours on a Saturday, and Adrian Chu, Career Crossroads, career advisor, of course, continues to work with SPH. He decided to come on as well. So they were the first two guests that I had back in April of 2018.
Nice. So we got another second microphone for you, Jace, if that one's a little bit easier to work for you. Cool. And then there was occasionally you kindly brought me on to do the International News Review. And then a few times I sat in for you when you were on holiday or out of town or whatever.
Yeah, that level of desperation. Who else could I get in? I thought, well, I know Glenn.
You were scraping the barrel at this point, weren't you?
I knew Glenn Van Zeffen for a long time. We worked together at CNN. We met on the overnight shift in 1999 in the Atlanta newsroom. And I thought, who do I know can speak well about international news and can come on as my news analyst?
And they were all busy.
And they're all busy.
But I need my drum roll.
So then that started, and it was. I look back now, and it was such a formative time for me because I'd primarily been a TV producer and presenter, broadcaster. And I dabbled in radio, and Neil and I did a podcast on football for several years as well. But I decided that I wanted to try radio, and it was the perfect timing, and you guys were a big part of it. And of course, Jason Desmond from Malaysia was someone else who helped me a lot in those early days of coming on.
The other JD, not Jason Dasey, but Jason Desmond.
Exactly. So what started back then, you guys have continued on for so long. And I think I stopped around July of 2019. That's when I mentioned to you, Glenn, would you be interested in taking on the show? You're going to have to inherit Neil Humphreys. That's going to be something challenging.
He did actually say that. He said, you don't have to bring Neil in.
It's true. I
said, no, are you kidding?
I was going. I was done.
The value of this guy was just amazing.
Hey, there's only one of us who gets recognised at car showrooms.
Exactly.
Okay? And it's me. But no, that was actually true. I was only going to help you settle in a week or two. But surprise, surprise, we didn't kill each other, and we seemed to get on okay. And then 2 hours became 3 hours, became whatever, and the rest is unimportant history.
And that was the thing, because Neil and I had this background as doing football, and we did this podcast that was quite successful.
And Astro.
And I brought Neil up to Astro when I was heading up football there and hosting Premier League. But you get to a point when you think, well, look, sport's great, but there must be more that we can talk about. So initially I thought, Neil knows so much about football, but we ended up not talking much about football. We did Beautiful Places, we did pop culture, murder mysteries. My old school teacher, Chris Dawson, was implicated and convicted of murdering his wife. And we talked about that, didn't we, Neil?
We did indeed.
And that was the thing that I think so many broad topics that you guys continue to do today, and we had a lot of fun with it.
And it kicked off a radio career for you. You're doing great in Australia now. You're hosting shows over there. What are you up to?
Yeah, it's been good, actually. So I continue to do stuff on 9 Radio, 4BC, which is a very famous radio station there. So I'll fill in and do shows there. I'm also hosting 101 FM, which is a community radio station in terms of music. And, Stuart Copeland from The Police was my guest a couple of weeks ago. I had J.J. Burnell from The Stranglers, May Pang, former girlfriend of John Lennon. So every month I try and give myself the target of getting a big fish, snagging a big fish, and doing that interview that will appear on the radio station, but will also go on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
I believe. Sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
You used to do that here as well. You get a target and you go for it. I mean, Stuart Copeland is a big deal, and he may or may not have heard of the radio show in Australia. I don't know. How did you get him?
Well, I'm a persistent guy, and which is why you guys agreed to come on the show with me, because I think, Neil, you may have turned me down initially and say, I'm not sure about this.
More than once. Yeah.
So, look, I think,
persistence pays.
Persistence pays off. And Glenn, you've, from your early days in Chicago and working in Japan and everywhere else, we realized that you got to aim high and you've got to go for these targets. And my goal is to get Barry Gibb on from the Bee Gees.
I remember you saying that when you were here. It's also my goal. I'd love to, because I love the Bee Gees. He's the last one left.
And, of course, when I did the show here, a lot of the regular listeners will remember we had Neil Sedaka on.
Right. When
he turned 80, and we wished him happy birthday. And I think Neil said to Neil Sedaka, I'm called Neil because of you. My mum loved Neil Sedaka.
Yeah. And it wasn't true.
You totally lied to an 80-year-old man.
And I even said to my mum and my dad, who are divorced, but I told them both, hey, we've got Neil Sedaka on the show this week, and I'm going to tell them that you named me after him, Neil Sedaka. It wasn't. I was named after Neil Young.
You're just shameless.
Which I actually think Neil Young is pretty cool to be named after. But
actually, I would choose Neil Young over Neil Sedaka, to be honest with you, generationally.
My mum's favourite song around the time I was born was, is it Heart of Gold?
Heart of Gold, yes.
She loved Heart of Gold by Neil Young, so that's where I'm from.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Glenn has sung Heart of Gold with our good friend Ralph in Chicago.
Ralph Covert, yeah. Well, he's helped you to get some interviews as well.
Yes, he has. Right? So this is a musician who had a Disney contract in the US, lovely man, around the same age as Glenn and myself.
And a wonderful band called The Bad Examples for
Bad
decades.
Examples, yes.
In the Chicago area.
So I got the guy from Styx, the guy that did the Rocky theme. Now I'm going for a guy called Graham Parker, who Neil will remember, New York Shuffle and all that.
Absolutely.
So he's opened all these doors as well. So I love music, as you guys know, and just to reconnect with a lot of the artists that I grew up with, and not just international artists, Australian artists as well.
Step back a minute. You said you got the guy who did the theme from Rocky.
Yes.
That's Bill Conti.
No, I'm talking about the Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, Survivor.
Survivor, yes. Yeah, Jim Peterick.
Yeah.
Right, so that's thanks to Ralph. Yeah. Because they're all musicians in the Chicago area.
Ralph's a great guy. Ralph Covert, fantastic musician and a genuinely nice human being. And I performed at his very first concert. When we were in high school. I sang lead.
Wow. Yeah. And look at him and look at you now.
In his backyard. It was in his backyard, a backyard rock concert that we performed in Glen Ellen, Illinois back in the 80s.
And Singaporeans would know that Rex Go, who's probably the best-known Singaporean rock export, he played with Air Supply. He played with another band called QED, a very well-known band in Australia. I tracked him down, did a lengthy interview that appeared on Money FM, and that was really the beginning of this talking to musicians and getting their backstories. And Rex Go left Singapore in 1972, and now he's in his mid-70s, and he is considered one of Australia's best arrangers, guitarists, and he started here in Singapore.
Brilliant. Well, we've got comments coming in. Fuchi Ren says, welcome back, Jason. The reunion that nobody asked for. Now, I must point it out.
Good for you,
Fuchi Ren is the king of the backhanded compliment. He's never given a compliment he couldn't take away.
And also just the backhand occasionally.
Just the backhand. But he adds, everyone's enjoying the reunion currently, he said. Very good. So, and that completes the epic trio of trios this morning from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to 1000 Topaio North. See, there you go.
Yeah, I don't even know where to go with that. Now, you are going to be retiring, I'm putting that in air quotes, from ABC, from the website, the stuff you've been doing for them this month, next month?
Yeah, it's 6 years since I left Singapore.
Wow.
2019.
6 years?
How did that happen?
Almost 6 years. It's gone quickly, and we had COVID in between. And this is the third trip I've taken back to Singapore since really the borders reopened, and it's wonderful to see you guys and share the studio with you. But I've decided that as I turn 63 next month, and my mum's turning 90 this month, so it's a big month in the Dasey family. I've decided to retire from the work I don't like to do and concentrate on the things that I love to do. So I've made a big decision as well to renounce my PR, Singapore PR. So now I'm back as a tourist. I've had to get a 3-month visa. So I've come back to sort out my affairs in terms of banking and everything else. So it's...
And most importantly, your CPF.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So I've spent the last couple of days down at DBS at Plaza Singapore. A Malaysian bank teller called May Jen was so helpful from Kelantan, an employee of the month for me. The next day,
this won't expedite your CPF. You don't
know.
No,
I know that. Then I went to Maxwell, to the CPF Centre, and I'd made a booking in advance for my appointment. And can you believe what happened? I get down there, there's no record of it. And I said, I've flown here from Australia for my appointment, and they were so wonderful. They fitted me in. Lovely Malay lady looked after me, and I had all the documents, and the paperwork's gone through, and now it's the process of waiting. But it is odd to have been in Singapore since the end of 2001, and here I am in 2025, and I'm a tourist after being based here for so long.
Yeah.
Now, what are you finding about Singapore that you miss or don't miss since you've been back?
Well, I just think the efficiency is amazing, Neil, and just to have people in the bank or the CPF board taking a genuine interest in trying to help out. It's something I don't get in Brisbane so much.
It is that. I was talking to someone about that the other day. They were asking me, why did I leave Australia to come to Singapore? And it wasn't the push factors of Australia. I think Australia is an absolutely beautiful country, but it was the efficiency. You get spoiled in Singapore. I remember going to a post office in the Great Ocean Road down in Victoria.
Yeah.
And the post office was closed at 4:55 p.m, but it says on the door 5 p.m. So I tapped on the window and I said, it's still 5 minutes. She said, yeah, but by the time I serve you, it'll be after 5. And that's such an Australian mindset, right? So 4:55, no post office.
Yeah.
The only complaint I would make, and again, this is not a big complaint. And just as a bit of a sidebar, I'm staying in Little India because I no longer have a place here. I'm staying like a tourist in a hotel that doesn't have a receptionist, that only has someone you speak to virtually. And that's how it works. Even getting the key card and any complaint you have, and it's a Filipino accent. So I'm thinking it probably isn't happening in Singapore. But the only complaint that I have, and I was sharing with Neil, Glenn, some of the food I've been eating because it is a food heaven here.
And you love that. And you had your favorite vegetarian place in Little India, I recall.
Yeah.
You used to go to all the time.
Yes.
And,
Woodlands New Madras. I haven't actually been there, even though I'm nearby. But I'm spending a lot of time in the Tekka Centre, Tekka Market.
Because it's cheap.
Of course. The only complaint that I have, because I'm an Ang Mo, because I'm a Westerner, when I order my favourite teh alia si, kurang manis, susu lebih, they want to give it to me in a cup. Rather than a plastic bag. And I said, no cup, plastic.
Because I want to ruin the environment like everybody else does.
Well, the cup's a styrofoam cup, so don't get on your high horse with me, Glenn Van Zeffen. But
you should see the engine in his car. He's got no room to talk about.
I know. But that's the thing.
Car that I used to have.
I feel like saying, I love my tea in a plastic bag. Yeah. Don't give me a cup. I've been here a long time. And I said no cup. You know how sometimes you give a negative and they get the positive? Yeah. I said no cup, and they gave me a cup.
Can't you just have it in a regular cup? I mean, are you in a hurry to leave? I mean,
I am. I'm just
You're a busy man.
I'm trying to get back to read your books, Glenn.
He's
and Neil.
He's 63. He doesn't have that much more time.
He hasn't got that much time. No. Every day is a blessing at 63.
Look, you'll laugh, but I have lost school friends. We had our 45th school anniversary last year for North Sydney Boys High. Some of you listeners may be familiar with North Sydney, where I grew up. And we'd had a previous reunion 5 years before that, and there were quite a few faces missing, their chairs missing, because people had passed away between being 58 and 63. So I always say...
That's young.
You're a bundle of fun, aren't you, this morning?
I can see your grey hair there, by the way.
I don't dye mine.
I don't know why you're looking at me. But I always say, and this is related to me about to give up the website job that I've done for the last 5 years, which has paid pretty well, and you know, you guys have both worked in that area, and you know there's a big demand for it. But I always say, if I was on my deathbed and I looked back what I've been doing, and I realized I've been doing the website editing for the last 5 years, I would say I'd be full of regret. So I'm trying to get to the point now where I do everything that I love to do, whether it's coming in, talking to you, whether it's getting a te alio kurang manis in a plastic cup or a styrofoam cup. So that's the way I look at things. And I'm sure the listeners out there can relate to what I'm saying. So because life is short and life is a bit like a currency, you know. We don't know how much currency we've got. We've got a restricted amount, but it may not be a lot. And so that's part of the decision. And 63 is not a spring chicken anymore.
No,
and
you're
not far
You're
behind,
not.
man.
You're definitely not. Just kidding.
You've got plenty of things on your deathbed to talk about. You knew Neil Humphreys. That'll do. Good enough.
I want to read one more book before I go.
Yeah, there you go. You got some.
We've got competition winners to get to.
Oh, competition winners. Well, let's go ahead and mention them right now.
Right, okay. So the answer to the question, who wrote Romeo and Juliet, was...
Shakespeare.
Very good.
Speaking of Romeo and Juliet, my daughter, who's now 15, and she's in year 10 in Australia, in Brisbane, she's studying that for her year 10, Romeo and Juliet.
Wow.
There you go.
There you go.
Interesting. Max, didn't you study that as well?
Yeah, Max is here.
Come on, Max. Tell us about Romeo and Juliet.
Pretty sure it was last year that we studied it.
Yeah. So, next week we're going to have the principal male and female dancer in the studio.
Cool.
Yeah. For the Romeo and Juliet that's coming up here in Singapore.
Play,
Yeah, for the ballet.
And the following week, we're having William Shakespeare.
Yeah, they're doing a ballet.
Yeah. We've got them all covered on this
All kinds
show.
of things going on. All right. That was the excited sound of studying Romeo and Juliet from the younger generation.
I'm with Max. I think it was about as good as that when I read it. Doesn't age well, Romeo and Juliet.
It was horrible.
The ending.
So why was it horrible, Max?
So our class had a bit of a modern twist to it where we watched the movie and read the book as well.
The Leonardo DiCaprio one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that made it easier to understand, I guess. And Neil, I'm sure you didn't have any sort of...
They didn't even have TV back when Neil was
No.
young.
Yeah,
No.
so...
No electricity either.
We just did it on a blackboard.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I was going to ask
So
you,
at least you
Max,
got to see the TV version, though.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
I like the film.
The film was good.
Actually.
Yeah.
Baz Luhrmann.
this is for Ella. Does it help if you watch the movie for your studies of Romeo and Juliet, do you think?
I think, as always with like movies and books, you should read the book first and then watch the movie, and then it'll all sort of piece together sort of in your mind.
Got it.
The movie is quite different.
It's a good film.
You know, it's
a good
quite
film.
different from the
Aussie
play,
Aussie
right?
director Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah.
Baz Luhrmann did
Been
that film.
dominating the world, the Aussies.
Well, I
can't
wouldn't go
believe
that far.
All right, Jason. Thanks, Max. Any last words? Not last words. These aren't your last
Jeez, I
words.
tell you what, the Grim Reaper's going to
any
walk in a
words?
minute. He's killing everybody off from his school reunion.
I'm looking at the time. I got a 5-minute Steely Dan song to play. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be done by the top of the hour.
We are.
So I was just going to give him the last word, not his last words.
Well,
But it is, you're not coming back.
all I could say is coming back to Singapore and experiencing it again, I'm always full of gratitude for it. And even like going on the 980 bus down to McRitchie from Little India, I've hiked McRitchie the last 2 days, one day with Sean McEwen yesterday. Today I did it on my own, got there at 6. It was dark as anything, had my phone. And I almost tripped over a few times. But it is just magnificent, absolutely magnificent. I cherish every moment I spend in Singapore because it is definitely right there in my heart as my favorite country outside Australia.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
What a nice way to finish.
Fantastic.
And we're going to go to lunch after, yeah?
Yes.
You want to go for a prata?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, they've got a vegetarian stall just opposite.
I know it well.
You do know it well. Of course you do.
He introduced me
Of
to
course
it.
you do.
8
Well, we've got to
years
get
ago.
over there quick because they wrap it up about 12:05. So we've got to get over there.
All right, Jason, thanks for being with us.
Lovely
Jason
to
Dasey.
see you.
Yep.
Thanks,
And-
man.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.